for me. We've got jet lag and hair lag.
A week after the Alicia Keys shoot in New York, the LaChapelle crew wakes up in France. They'll be shooting a fashion spread for Italian Vogue at Futuroscope, a futuristic theme park 200 miles from Paris.
On a shoot, we spend the first day just figuring out what it's going to look like, and then once you do that, it goes very fast.
And we put the shoes, and that'll look so new.
The last shoot with Alicia Keys was so much pressure, and this one's been there's publicists and timings, you have to go play. This one we have all day, all night, tomorrow.
But the number of good locations found during the recce suggests that they may not have enough time after all.
I shot that with a disposable camera, all these pictures.
No, they're amazing.
Just walking
why?
around.
Maybe you should just all use this all the time.
That's what Patty said.
It
I
looks
should just
better.
use a disposable camera.
Doesn't need
Jacob
any
like, oh, then I won't
retouching.
need to come anymore. It looks retouched already.
They
This
look
is
amazing.
incredible. I mean, look at the color.
When I looked at the pictures of this park on the web, I have to confess that I was not inspired. I really didn't know. I had trouble thinking about what to do with it.
All the help.
Designer fashions arrived from Paris this morning. Deciding what to do with them will have to be made soon. But sticking to the budget will be difficult to achieve.
There's a big difference between editorial and advertising. Today we're doing editorial for Italian Vogue, and we're given pretty much free reign to do whatever we want. Only thing we have to do is show the clothes. But advertising is really where you make money, and editorial is where you spend money. You know, you're given a certain budget, you have to stay within that, but I don't find that I can always make the pictures I want to make within that budget, so I have to kind of put my own money into it. And the only way to do that is to do advertising, so you make a little bit of money. We're a big budget, a low budget world.
This is an editorial shoot. There are signs the budget may already be overspent.
Oh, they're like $5 a piece.
Oh, can we not blow them up then?
That John Corona dress back.
Can we return them?
I don't know, maybe.
Let's try to return them, let's not blow them up.
Okay, let's try this jumpsuit.
Stop blowing balloons up.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow it.
No, I mean, don't inflate. Yeah.
Let's first too much.
Okay.
That's cool. They look like the Jeff Koons.
Okay, let's try this jumpsuit.
Maybe not all of them, though. Can we not do all of them? Okay. Oh, Christabel.
Yeah, a bit further back.
For 4 hours, hair and makeup stylists have been working on the look. But there's time for more experimentation, which wouldn't be available if this were a celebrity shoot.
Did you tell Jake where we're starting? When you're working with a celebrity, it's... Sometimes it feels like a collaboration with the really good ones, you know, the really people who get it, you know. And sometimes it feels like you're just in service to them, you know. How would you like your steak cooked? You know what I mean? It's that kind of feeling. Models on your team, you know, they're like part of the crew. They're working with us, you know, they're like, we're working together, collaborating. Because these girls are, you know, they're part of the business, they understand that, you know, that this is their job, you know, to be in photographs. This girl's really cool, really professional, chill. Looks great.
Like that. That's not. No.
Really?
Just no.
You guys ready? Let's walk to the bridge. You know, it's like experimenting. We're not doing anything that's safe, so it takes a little, like, more time than if you're just doing something normal or something. You know, we're trying to do something we haven't really seen that much of, if at all. So it's hard to know what it's going to look like until you do see it. The idea of, I think we did the right thing with the fro. I just think it's like too much. Okay. So it almost could be her hair. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, believable. Good.
Okay, let's get in.
Nothing gets by him. You know, he has input in every aspect of the picture, and you know, he likes people to you know, use their knowledge, like the makeup artist and the hair, and come up with ideas. he does notice every detail, and yeah, he's got a good eye.
That's nice too.
Yeah. So Jake, we'll go with this lens.
Okay. That's really nice.
Which one is this? Yeah, this is.
Oh, that's the no.
I want to do something that. Just something cool. It's never been shot before for a fashion magazine, so this place, I think it's just amazing. The back, the buildings are just ridiculous.
There you go. Doing the same you crazy bitch! Is that the eyes?
He's very good with his ingredients. And they're classic now. No one can copy him, that's what's great. So what he does is all that great big hairdos and the 60s thing. He's just obsessed with caricature. I think everyone looks like they popped out of a, Punch and Judy magazine. Sophie Dart, she was naked, bosoms. He got her absolutely, she should be like a pin-up girl. He saw immediately that she was a baby doll with a brain.
He's a really interesting mix. Influences and ideas that come together in the work. The obvious sort of sexuality in his work and the sort of tension that's created between, on the one hand, he's got a whole kind of dark kind of aspect, but also brings kind of humour and this love of this beauty and obviously the whole pop art thing that he just clearly loves.
Today it's LaChapelle who calls the shots, but that hasn't always been the case. In the early 1990s, his career stalled.
I think the real break came in my mind when I just decided not to take pictures for other people anymore, just to take pictures for myself. When I got the courage to do that, things really changed drastically and radically at that time. And I started getting all kinds of work and getting noticed.
The turning point was the publication of a new magazine called Details and a commission to photograph up-and-coming personalities and their families.
The work, when it first appeared, was kind of wild and extraordinary, and was pushing boundaries, and the highly polished nature of it, the fantasy element, which was, in complete contrast to the whole kind of grungy thing that was also happening.
David LaChapelle returned to his own roots for inspiration. Small-town America, where he captured people in artificial habitats, strip malls, car parks, and fast food restaurants. He invented his own kind of kitsch and added it to his bag of tricks.
I wanted to take pictures that competed with, the cereal adverts and, so color just seemed the answer to me.
They have this kind of intensity and richness and kind of full-onness that it's quite difficult to look at a lot of them. And if there is one problem with his work, that's it.
LaChapelle's images have been called meticulously posed cartoons. So are they contrived scenarios, lucky accidents, or a bit of both?
A shoot in a studio is usually more planned out, and we have sets, and we have very it's always spontaneous and last minute, but I think that a good thing about a shoot like this is we come to a place and don't know exactly what we're going to do and really have to think on our feet for the pictures. And I think some of David's best things are done that way.
But that doesn't mean they're easy to pull off.
We had technical problems. We had a beautiful silver spray paint, the most beautiful silver spray paint I've ever used, because they're all different countries. And we were very excited about it because it looked silver, but in fact it never dried, and it's still wet 48 hours later, and we had to put plastic down to protect the dress. But that happens, It doesn't. I don't think it'll show in the picture.
Straight.
Luck, hairspray and glue may prevent this shot from coming unstuck. But why go overboard trying to achieve perfection when retouching afterwards can achieve the same thing?
I lost the nail. Take it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It has to be extravaganza because, it's David's style. You just lift them up, don't drag them.
It's about creating an environment, creating an atmosphere, creating the LaChapelle world.
But how real is the LaChapelle world? How much of the magic is the magician's? How much is a result of digital effects?
I had her playing the flute because there was sort of those pipe organs behind her, and I just thought it mimicked the background. It looks like a computer image when you look at the Polaroid. It doesn't look real. The last few years I've been really just using less and less digital. We pioneered it 10 years ago. We got a grant from a Japanese company where we were using digital really early on. I made my mistakes with it, and I'm much more interested in just kind of creating these crazy scenes and not using retouching as a tool, as it's always been used. But it's much more fun to create that experience and photograph it, document it, and then you have it as a memory, of something that actually took place. It was an event that occurred that we set up.
And my pants are finally dry.
Come closer to me. Okay. I feel that my pictures in some ways are more honest than some photographs because they're honestly fantasies. They're not pretending or parading themselves as reality. I feel like everything's manipulation in a way. And, so where do you draw the line? Where does that manipulation end? Well, I believe that, it doesn't have to end any place. Photography is like a painting. It can be anything I want it to be at any time.
Go back a little bit. Warm the back.
A little bit more oomph. Delphine did a great job.
I was sweating.
I mean, as you see, it's really teamwork and collaboration. I'm really just a button presser at the end of the day.
Is it time?
Jake does all the work.
Is it time?
Get my finger massage.
Oh, okay, that's much better. Try it. Give it to me. Great,
Okay.
great. Perfect.
It's better now.
Perfect. Okay, just try to a little bit more like that.
I know.
Perfect.
I think there's a lot of great photographers in the world documenting everything going on in the world, the realities of the world, the horrors of the world, and I just feel like, photographs can also be an escape from that, and it can also be, a place where things are more beautiful, brighter, or more, funnier. This way. Chin up. That's great. Free balloons, balloons. Can we swim in the park?
No, it's the water is
Acid?
Yeah.
It's acid?
Yes.
It's really an acid pool?
It's an acid pool for naughty
thanks, David.
Sorry, Jake.
The LaChapelle crew has landed on the French Riviera for the next part of their European tour. They'll be photographing Elton John for the music edition of Vanity Fair on the beach in Nice. In the playground of the rich and famous, Kristen and Jake are having a hard time finding the props David wants, and some he won't.
We were driving down the beach the other day, and David saw an old man with a metal detector. So he got the idea that it'd be great for him to be doing it on the beach, which I think is kind of funny.
But will Sir Elton appreciate the joke?
I think since it's David and his images are so unique that people really put in a lot because they know they're going to get a lot out.
And it may look all fun and fun and crazy or whatever, but it's I have a message behind it. There's always a concept, a story. I'd like Elton to be on the beach with a metal detector because he's a man who has everything and who still wants more. So he's like looking for gold on the beach, with a metal detector, looking for treasure, and that, to me, in a way, is kind of, describes him in a way because I don't mean material things. He's still like wanting to get that hit record, and still, you know, really searching for that gold, you know. So I think that sums him up a little bit, you know. He's got everything, and he's still looking for more. Sorry. I know that's Fred. Hi, Fred. Oh my God, we gotta go. He's on his way. He's 5 seconds away. We gotta go.
In Nice, 0 hour is fast approaching for the shoot with Elton John. Though the LaChapelle crew doesn't have sets to build, there are other things to worry about.
Sometimes you would think on the shoots that it was, you know, all our first day because we can yell and scream, but at the same time, being a family, we can yell and scream at each other. So there's always that sense of chaos and drama that kind of feeds each picture.
Can you put this back?
Hold on. Mark, sync cord. I need a sync cord real quick.
Yeah, that would help. Come on, guys. Pull it together.
Problems that could arise, packs could go down, lights could break, one of Kristen's blow-up dolphins could pop.
Everyone's temperament's different, and every shoot, depending on the subject, will climax at a different point. With Elton, he wants to be in and out in 2.5 to 3 minutes. Because he comes on, energy's there, it's ready to go. Jake, show Elton where he's right here.
Right here, Elton.
Okay, give the metal detector, Christabel. What's up, you guys? But you dream when you're a kid of wanting to get away and to do things, and to photograph someone like Elton. I mean, there's so many facets to his personality. Yeah, you can sit all here, or sit down. So it's very funny now that, you know, I'm friends with him. It's just, you know, life is really strange that way. Show him how to hold it.
Just like that.
Like it's over the ground.
You just gotta sweep it over it like that.
Your 2 hands.
2 hands?
Yeah. My photographs are not just studies of the face. It's also the environment that people are in. It's what they're doing. It's their expression.
Good to go, David.
And just really relax. So I think more of a person's personality, more of their spirit can come out in my photographs. By allowing a person to interact with an environment, a set, or a situation that I put them in. That's 2 O's.
Yep.
Good. That's it. I got, you see that woman sitting there? I have shots of her laying in the chair, like the most unbelievable position. So she's going to actually be on the chair, not the man in the blue. It's going to be hysterical. It'll be really cool. Okay. Oh, good. We'll get some shots with the dog. You have to be in tune with the subject, the person that you're photographing, and be sensitive to them. And that's what I'm saying. I project myself always into the people I'm photographing and try to take a complimentary photograph that I think would be, you know, how would I want to be shot, and what if I was them, and putting myself into their shoes.
One big click up. You're good. It looks really good.
I like the darker.
Yep, it's 11.5.
Which lens is that?
It's the 55
All
lens.
right. I love that shirt. Hold it. Really normal. That's it. Really relaxed. Great. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Great. Beautiful.
David LaChapelle may also put himself into the films he directs, but the award-winning Natural Blues video with Moby is a journey to a darker place than his still photos go. In contrast, his colours are dull, movement in the frame is slow. So is it his style that's changing, or is it David LaChapelle?
I would just like to try and always be interesting in some way. You know, I don't always want to just be the clown, you know, just taking photographs that are like funny. We used to do a lot of photographs that were kind of ironic and stuff, and I've gotten away from that a bit, and I just, you know, especially with my music videos, the Moby video and stuff, I mean, they're not ironic in any way, they're heartfelt and sincere.
What is that dark aspect in his work? Because it is undoubtedly there as well, in the kind of dreamlike quality of the images, I suppose. The sort of the surrealism that's evident in his work has that kind of bordering on the nightmare. the bodybuilder coming out of the water with a shoe and the diving bell on. I mean, it's such an extraordinary picture. And, you know, nobody could take a picture like that apart from David.
Art is autobiographical, so it's come from him and it can't come from anybody else. You know it immediately. It's a mystery. I don't know how he does it, and we shouldn't know, because that's the beauty of his work.
But do these images merit a place on museum and gallery walls? As he opens an exhibition of his work at the Kunsthaus Museum in Vienna, LaChapelle himself seems surprised to be here.
I never thought, you know, my work would be shown in galleries or museums, and it was never the point to my pictures. It was always more democratic about being shown in magazines. I definitely subscribe to a more popular pop art form of, you know, ideology. I mean, that means just getting work out for everybody, whether it be little kids or not, and not just a handful of intellectuals or art critics, but for people.
Critics of fashion and celebrity photography may say these images aren't art. But after almost 3 decades of breaking rules to create his own kind of reality, as ever, David LaChapelle has a different point of view.
I think that's one of the many purposes of art, is to give people things to think about. But I think the best art is ambiguous enough to have beauty yet have a message as well. Well, I also think there's a lot of people running around calling themselves artists, you know, that's really something for history to decide, and I'm certainly not doing it. I'm a photographer, and I'm thinking about my next picture. I'm not really thinking about what people have to say about it so much, or what it means. I know what it means to me, and there's a reason for taking a certain picture, and there's a goal that I'm trying to do, and, you know, it's to photograph the people that make up this world, and, you know, the world of popular culture, some of the most celebrated faces and some of the most obscure, to make a statement about beauty and finding beauty in places you don't always normally tend to see it. I've never felt like I've arrived. I've never felt like I've made it. You know, I'm always feeling like it's just my whole career, my whole life is in the, you know, balancing on this one picture kind of thing. You know, where it's, God, if this doesn't come out good, then everyone's gonna know I suck.
How much longer do you plan to shoot?
Until you give out. I'm just gonna. My career will end when Jake gives out. We'll be done.
We just can't stand still, call me crazy. Can't stand still, cause we don't face me. Can't stand still. We just can't stand still.